Yeah. Hello, friends. I'm Chris Dunham. This is Mike Michaels. This is... What is this? Episode 46.
You sounded like
Right?
WKRP in Cincinnati there for a second. All official, like you were the traffic
Baby,
guy.
if you've ever wondered...
Or maybe weather at the...
Wondered
Weather
whatever
on the
became of
fives.
me. I'm living on the air in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, WKRP. Went
We're
town
old
to town,
people.
down. Went town to town, up and down the dial. Went town to town. Went tired of unpacking. I don't know. Town to town, up and down that dial. Maybe you and me were never meant to be. Just maybe think of me once in a while. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati.
You're further than
That
I
show
ever
actually
would
made
have
me
got.
want to be a disc jockey.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, that show actually made me want to be a disc jockey, and then I just didn't do it. So
They did make it look cool. No question.
There you go, man. It was, and I think it is cool. I think in all things radio music like that are cool. It sucks that AI is taking everything over, and you just like when I was on the radio when I had Real Talk USA with the real estate guy on iHeart. I recorded my show on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. True story. By 5 o'clock that afternoon, I had all 5 segments sent to me, which were edited down to highlight them, and then all 5 segments were sent to the producer in California to create 5 different videos for marketing the show. And then when it would run Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon, I would be in front of a computer, and as it would run, I would upload content on the Facebook page. Instagram wasn't big back then. Twitter was Twitter, but Facebook was really driving everything. So as the show would go on, I would drop these segments of the show on Facebook, so it created the illusion that I was live.
That's crazy.
And it really wasn't. And as time went on, doing that show, I did it for a year. I missed it. I should have kept doing it, but there was reasons I didn't. But the people behind it started getting flaky. Not iHeart, but Real Estate Radio Network. So as it went on, I'm still friends with a couple people. I actually sold a house to the main guy that used to put the traffic together for all the West Coast, which is really fucking cool if you think about it, because of all the realtors that came through that building advertising for all the different shows and shit, he chose me out of the blue, which I was like, fuck, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Super cool guy too. He'd be a blast to get on the show. But I introduced Nikki to John Jay and Rich, nationwide syndicated morning show, because she loved them at the time. But it's interesting watching iHeart get smaller and smaller as it relates to the shows going on. Like when I first started, this whole floor was just full of everything, and then as time went on, it just got less and less and less because of cost. They figured out they could have one guy do all the recordings for the next 24 hours, whatever week, whatever, and then they could just computerly program that station for a week and just plug in his segments. It's crazy, man.
So it's all automated at this point.
It's really kind of crazy. All of it, yeah. Uh-huh.
And that's kind of how...
Which is why I think a lot of stations are going...
That's kind of how Sirius works. Except for like Stern and when they had Opie and Anthony.
Yeah.
It's very pre-recorded, because if you go on a lengthy drive, you very well know that you hear the same segment start over again. They play like the same 26 songs.
I didn't realize that until recently. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize it until recently. I caught something one night when I was coming home from my office, or from showing a house or something. They had an interview with David Gilmour, Rachel Steele did, and then the next day it was on again. I'm like, well, that's fucked up. Like, there's nothing. So yeah, it's just a cycle. It's not constantly new. It's kind of just rewind and restart type thing, which is disappointing, because the whole reason I thought Sirius was cool was because it's different. It's not going to be that stupid shit, but it is.
Well, that was the first
Even though
thing.
Buddy Paul Neanderthal Marshall is branching out.
I saw that. That was the first thing that came to mind when you described what they turned into. That's the main reason I got rid of Sirius was on a couple drives where, I was going 4 or 5 hours, I'm like, Jesus, I heard the same song twice now, sometimes 3 times. It's like, for $11 a month I pay for Spotify, I got to listen to no commercials, and I can listen to whatever I want, whenever I want. So as a consumer...
But can Spotify be in the vehicle?
Yes. It just Bluetooths to your car.
It can.
Of course. It goes with you wherever you go.
But you have to have it on your phone.
Yeah.
But it's your phone. So it's but see there's my problem. But there's my problem. It sucks the battery out of the phone.
Plug your phone in while you're driving.
I do. It sucks.
It's not going to suck your battery down while it's plugged in.
Shit, I don't like. Right, but then what happens if you get a phone call? Like if you get a phone call, then the Spotify kick out, and all of a sudden you're on the speakers of your vehicle, driving down the road, talking. See, I don't like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't like that. That
don't bother me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll actually mute, like, if you're doing navigation, it will put the music in the background, kind of like a compressor works for vocals, where you duck the vocals down when, or actually you duck the music down when the vocals come in, like for a commercial spot or something.
Yeah.
It kind of works like that. So as I'm driving along and my navigation's going off, the music just, goes quiet in the background, and the navigation says what they need to say, and then the music comes back. You don't have to do anything. It's all automated. But for you, you're on the phone all the time, so I get where that would probably be a pain in the ass.
I'm not on the phone all the time, but just when I'm on the phone, I don't hook it up to my truck ever. I did it once, take it back. When I first got my truck, I hooked it up.
What year's your truck?
And then the first phone call I got, I'm like, fuck that shit. 2014, but I got it in 2016, I think.
Okay, so maybe it doesn't have Spotify loaded.
It still does.
The newer cars from probably 2000, at least 18 on, all have Spotify, Apple CarPlay, Google Play. They got all that shit right there on your computer on the car, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure my dad's got it.
She's got a newer one, and she's got a Jag.
Well, it's in hers for sure. Somewhere on that computer is Spotify.
Yeah, your dad's super cool though. He's cooler than I am,
Well, I think he's driving an older car than you, and I think he has it. That was my point.
That's because he's cooler than me. We've already established that, Mike.
He's cooler than both of us by a landslide, but that's beside the point.
Right, we're just two fucking guys sitting at home talking to ourselves. We just happen to be soundboards off one another.
Just talking shit on a Tuesday afternoon.
That's funny. Talking shit, brother. Talking shit. So speaking of talking shit, did you fucking see how fucking bad the New York motherfucking Giants are, dude? Like,
you told me,
my God. And then you have Saquon Barkley who, yeah. Then you have Saquon Barkley who fucking busts out and has like this epic game. And why does he have an epic game? Because he has a line and he has a quarterback that all of which know what the fuck they're doing, which shows you how elementary, I don't know, that's the wrong one, how epically failing, how the Giants have epically failed Saquon, and they epically failed. And people are fighting with, Daniel Jones is just because he has shit people around. Well, no. That's not it. The 2 years the Giants won the Super Bowl, Eli was sacked more than any other quarterback, rush, blah, blah, blah. So it's just kind of bizarre that people are just still defending Daniel Jones. He's had one good year his entire career. And they're still defending him. Give him a chance. Fuck you, give him a chance, man. Exactly. Fuck you, give him a chance. He threw another pick six, okay? The dude loses games for the Giants. He's not an NFL caliber quarterback. The fact that the Giants paid him what they paid him, for whatever reason, Mara just loves the dude, and I don't understand why. I don't pretend to understand why, because again, I'm not the owner, I'm not the coach, I'm not a player. I have no money vested in this team whatsoever. So you'll never hear me say we or my team, because it's not. It's a team that I root for. But Daniel Jones just fucking got to go. There's fans burning his jerseys. That's how bad he is. That's how bad it is in New York. Like Jake and I were talking about it. Like, I don't know.
You know me, I love those people.
You have more insight with the Bears than I'll ever have in Arizona.
Fucking adorable.
Right. But
burning his jersey, man.
See, right? But
Fuck
see,
that,
you
I'd at
have,
least
you
turn it
have,
into
you
a
have
rag.
more insight on the Bears.
Right.
Well, true. Right. But you'll have more insight on the Bears in living in Illinois than I would ever have. So I telling Jake that New Yorkers will have more insight on the Giants than we will ever have in New York. So we don't know the day-to-day shit that goes on. We don't have those newspapers. We don't have those tabloids, all that kind of shit. We don't hear the buzz and stuff, right? So we'll never know. Like, I know all there is to know about the Cardinals, and I don't even like the fucking Cardinals. So there's that weirdness of it, but I don't know, dude. The uniforms suck. It's their 100th year. They had all these epic players, these monsters of the gridiron at halftime.
He's bummed, ladies and gentlemen.
And you go out there and
bummed.
you fucking lay an absolute, you lay an absolute egg, and fucking at home, mind you, not even on the road. You do it at home. It's just like I'm just done. That was it. I was like, okay, I'm just done. You need to move on. You need to fire his ass. You need to relegate him to third string. Start Luck. Put Tommy DeVito as backup to Luck, and just let's go. Let's see where we go. The other thing too. 5-6 years ago, whenever Eli retired, they could have started rebuilding the line right then and there. Build the line. It doesn't matter who your quarterback is, your receiver is, your running backs are. If you don't have a line of scrimmage, an offensive line that's going to protect a line of scrimmage, you don't have shit. I don't care who you are. If you cannot protect your quarterback,
football
and open holes for a
101.
running back, right? Exactly. Motherfucking 101 football.
The guy's got to have time to throw the ball.
You got to have that, because if you exactly, and you got to make holes. Like Saquon Barkley, prime example. I like him. From what I know of him, he's a great human. He always gets hurt. He's going to get hurt because that's his MO, and he's not going to finish the year healthy, which sucks because he's a good human that I know of. But he will get hurt, and that's the Giants failed him by not being able to protect him and open holes for him. But we'll see how he does. But they did offer to pay him. They did offer to keep him there and give him what he wanted, and he still said no and left. So he can talk all the shit he wants, but he was off. The Giants matched the Eagles' offer, and he said no.
That tells you that they were not utilizing his talents, and he wanted to try something different, right?
I think they were utilizing his talents. I just don't think that he felt confident in the line that they built, because they didn't really build. It's kind of like Dak Prescott making that stupid $80 million guaranteed, $254 million, right?
$231 million guaranteed.
Done? Nothing. Yeah. What has he done? Nothing. Has he won a Super Bowl? No. Has Daniel Jones won a Super Bowl?
All but
No.
$9 million of it's guaranteed. $231 million.
Right. But so what
I
right,
agree with
talked
you
about this before. So
$1,000,000%.
Dak Prescott. Yeah.
But it's the dumb fuck owner that paid him and made him
Lamar
the highest paid
Jackson,
NFL athlete ever.
Right.
That I'm like, why? I would put so many contingencies in that fucking contract that he would have to perform.
Right.
I'm not asking you to win the Super Bowl, right? Because you can't make that. An agent's going to say, fuck you.
Yep.
That's not, we're not. You got to understand how contracts work. And being in bands, Chris and I understand how contracts work. I work for a union. I completely understand how contracts work. So I sat through a national negotiation. So there's certain things you can ask for whatever you want, but you have to meet in the middle. What kills me is that the athlete seems to end up with the sweet end of the pot every time. I don't blame them for what they get, but where I'm confused is why there's no pushback on the, I guess because they have no option. That guy can sit there and say, go find another NFL caliber quarterback. I mean, really, there's not that many of them. And I agree with you, he's never done anything, but who are you going to replace him with at the 11th hour before the season starts? He had him by the balls, right? And I don't know how you fix that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I don't care enough. I love sports. I love gambling on sports, but I don't care enough to put the thought into it that it takes to solve that problem. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be solvable somewhere.
I do, and it does. And I think you remember Ricky Waters, the pothead running back for the Saints.
Hey now.
Okay, so his entire contract.
Hey now.
No. I'm not bashing him. Back then, though, that was unheard of. Okay?
That term just
was unheard of. Now it's
somehow
commonplace.
irks me.
Why or not? but I don't know if it was Ricky Waters. Was it Ricky Waters? Was that his name? I think that made someone else. My point being is this: when he signed his contract, everybody freaked out because it was all incentive based.
That's what it needs to be.
Like he wasn't. I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. So everybody freaked out because he signed an incentive based contract because in his mind he had not proven himself in the NFL yet. And I thought, wow, that's fucking genius. So every milestone he hit, he got paid more and more and more, which, give them a base. It's what is it? Rookie contracts are what, 5 years, $20 million. So that should be across the board. Anybody who gets drafted in the draft, whether they're 1 or 282, they get 5 years, $20 million. You have 5 years to fucking show what you can do and how you can be a leader in the league. Whatever
I would even say 3 because
right?
5 years
Period.
is a big chunk to give up of your youth. From 20 to 25 is very important, but 25 to 30 is even more important, right? 25 to 30 is your prime.
Oh, okay, I can agree with that.
In sports, right? Not in life.
Yeah, okay.
Relax, people. We're talking sports here. 25 to 30, you're breaking records. Okay. You're kicking ass, unless you're Tom Brady or Brett Favre or somebody that's a freak in nature, right?
Right. But even then, even still, Aaron Rodgers should have retired and left because they made a big deal about it when I was showing one of my properties there in the elevator. The advertisement, the news, Aaron Rodgers throws a touchdown in his debut but falls short. Motherfucker, the whole headline should have been how Brock Purdy and the 49ers came back after being
without Christian McCaffrey
in the first quarter and turned the shit around. Exactly. Let's focus on Aaron Rodgers throwing one touchdown.
That's what I would like to call.
Dude, you're done.
Not to interrupt you. I know I do it a lot. Sorry. But anyway.
No, you're good. No, here.
What was I going to say?
You're not interrupting me. We're talking.
Oh.
I was talking about how the focus was on Aaron Rodgers instead of on Brock Purdy.
Yes, and I would like to commend, what's his name? Shannon, the coach for the 49ers.
Kyle Shanahan. Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan. I would like to commend Kyle Shanahan and his coaching staff.
Yeah.
Like you said, in one quarter they went, okay, we're deficient here, here, and here. Let's fix it. Okay, now we're going to kick ass. And they commenced to kicking ass. That was impressive. I agree, man.
Yep.
And I look for stuff like that.
But that should have been the focus.
It's not a like
you too.
Like your point to the ladies and gentlemen out there, and I know they're picking up on it, is it's not a one-man show. Everybody focuses on the quarterback and the wide receiver or whatever, but everyone on that field understands, just like in a band, the front man is the voice of the band, and that's who everybody sees, and that's who they relate to. But you hope you have a front man like I did, in that they understand that that's part of the show. That's not who they are. Because without us, he didn't have a band.
Right.
Without that quarterback,
exactly, you
don't have a leader, but without the guys in the front of him, he doesn't have any protection. So I agree with you, man. That was really impressive to look like they were going to get their ass handed to them by the Jets defense, and they just picked them apart.
Because they did, right?
They did in the first quarter. They got smoked.
Yeah, because it did. I really... Right. I was just like, fuck, this isn't going to be good.
No.
You know what I mean?
And I had money on it, so it was going to be even less good for me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Thanks, Rob, for the tip.
It is,
because I wasn't going to gamble on that game, so shout out to Rob for getting me to bet on the 49ers.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's that. And then the Cardinals, I tuned to the Cardinals. I was doing an open house, and I tuned into the Cardinals game after watching the Steelers for a while, and I happened to just turn to it when Josh Allen Supermaned into the end zone, okay? And then then they kicked it off, right? And the Cardinals, first time in 155 games, ran back the touchdown.
Oh, I missed that one.
Right. I was like, holy shit, and they still found a way to lose it because it's the Cardinals.
I did see that.
You know?
I saw they were winning, and I was super impressed. And then I looked at the final score and went, well, it's tough to bet against Josh Allen, man. He's just another one of those freaks of nature. He knows how to win football games. He just can't win a Super Bowl.
Except when it comes to the playoffs exactly.
Yeah, playoffs, championship games. Yeah. Has he ever even been in? He's been in a championship game, hadn't he? Super Bowl.
I think they've been in the AFC Championship, but not in the Super Bowl.
Not in the Super Bowl. Okay.
Right, not in the Super Bowl.
Through no fault of his, in my opinion. I think the defense I know the defense let him down because,
right.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I like to dabble in what they call online sports betting because somehow, even without being super proficient in knowing about sports, I know enough about it to win about 60 to 65% of the time. So in the gambling world, that's what you like to call winning.
Winning. Yeah, that is winning.
New studio that I'm building here is partially brought to you by DraftKings, so thank you to online sports betting.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
all the floors
awesome.
are paid for by
so
DraftKings.
we need to do. Okay. So we need to do. We need to do a. And I won't hold you responsible at all. But we need to do a weekend where we talk and I'll bet what you bet and we'll see how it rolls. Because I'm always afraid to bet because I don't know enough about it. But I want to try it just to fuck around because Jake does it. Jake bets and he's like, Dad, I won this. I did this one. I'm like, holy shit, dude, that's crazy.
You don't have to
but
go
I'm just
crazy.
not a big gambler per se.
You can bet a quarter, dude. Seriously, you could bet a penny. That's the least they'll let you bet, but they will let you bet a penny.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't go crazy. I mean, like this weekend, I probably bet $100 in total on college football and the NFL. I had $25 on the Bears.
What'd you win?
I won 47-72 on the Bears game. Last night I had
nice
$20 on it and I won $42.50. So, yeah, I'm not gambling huge amounts of money. That $2,300 I won was from a year ago's NFL season to right now. So I put 100 in, and I made 2,300 in just a little over a year. It takes a while, but
that's not bad.
No.
Yeah, I'm not thinking I'm gonna fucking make $1 million in a day. I like your approach to it. Like it's just overtime, casual fun without the stress. Enjoy. And speaking of the Bears, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like they were down 17-0. I'm like, fuck, Caleb Williams is a bust, man. This whole thing's just the media is gonna fucking destroy him, light him up.
He just
and the
looked
next
like
thing I
his
know,
first NFL
26-17
game.
comeback.
Well, that's because the defense and the special team scored all the points. We proved that you can win a football game without offense.
Oh, did they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the offense only had a little over 100 yards of total offense. It was pathetic, abysmal, not good. Back to the drawing board. He wasn't getting enough time to throw the ball, and then he made some rookie mistakes. He made a lot of rookie mistakes, but that's all they were. Is he's going to realize real quick when he watches that film that the biggest mistake that he made is the NFL is about 40% faster than college. He doesn't have time to jack around.
That's
when the play falls apart, and you got to throw the fucking ball away. Get rid of it. Or run. And the one thing I'll give him credit for is while he's a good runner, that is not the first thing that he looks to do.
Yeah.
He's not Justin Fields. And that was my dad's biggest fear is, you got another running quarterback. But, in his defense, he said, I didn't watch him play for USC, so I'll give him a chance. I did watch him play for USC, and he cost me money every time I bet against him. So I know what he's capable of doing. He just didn't realize that the NFL is fucking what you like to call fast. These guys are 300 pounds, and they run like a 4.8 40, They're machines. They're not big, fat guys like they were in 1985. The Refrigerator Perry was fat.
No, and I don't think right, but and that's the biggest knock on college players, right? Is when they come out of college into the NFL, it's the speed that kills. And I really think people like Daniel Jones, I think that the game is too fast for him.
But let me ask you this,
because he's supposed to be fucking brilliant. He's supposed to have a great football IQ. Yeah, go ahead.
How do you prepare for somebody for that?
Fire away. You don't. That's the thing. It's just you have it or you don't. That's the bottom line. It's you have it or you don't. And if you don't have it, then it's reps, and it's repetition, and it's game situation, things like that, which Daniel Jones has had. This is his 5th or 6th year. Motherfucker has had a chance to adapt to the speed, and he's not adapting to it. Everybody thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be off a bit, right, from missing a year.
Yeah,
and he was. There were some cobwebs, but you can
tell he can play
get
the
back
game
in
still.
the groove.
Yeah,
exactly. That's one of the cool things I heard about Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy's an Arizona product, is when he was playing like flag football and coast to coast. I think it was coast to coast flag football league. And like 7, 8 years old, maybe 9, 10 years, somewhere around there, between 7 and 10. That's when he realized he could be an NFL quarterback, because he was faster than everybody else. And he something to the fact that he was faster, and he could think quicker than they could react.
That's it right there.
And that's when he knew he could do this.
His mind works just that much faster than everybody else on that field.
Yeah.
I like that dude. He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
He makes the game fun to watch. And I picked up on that without even hearing that story. So that's
totally
cool to hear that story. I'm like, for a little dude, the only way that he competes is his mind has to work just that much faster than everybody else that's out there. And as you watch him go through his routine, it's pretty clear. As soon as they hike that ball, man, he's already 3 steps ahead of whatever's going on, you know?
Yeah. And
Very calm.
That's what's cool about and that's what's cool about Shanahan, because he saw something in him. Even though he was the last player drafted, he still saw something in here enough to draft him, knowing that at some point in time he could be the only option they had to play.
Bingo.
Kind of like Tom Brady. Tom Brady was fucking one of the last, was a shitty draft pick too, but Belichick saw something in him, and fucking turned him into the GOAT. Because that wasn't just Brady. I mean, granted, Brady had a big hand in that, but speaking of Belichick, like did you watch Monday Night Football last night?
Till halftime. I got to get up at 4 a.m.,
Okay, did you watch the Peyton-Eli one? Right. Did you watch the Peyton-Eli or the other one?
No, I'm not going to lie. I didn't listen to any of it. I had music on in the background. I was just watching the game.
Okay. Well, Peyton and Eli, you should turn them in and then turn it off, the volume off. But they have guests on their show. Okay.
When I do.
And they had Belichick on. Dude, it was cool having Belichick on between the two of them, and Peyton led with, you can bust Eli's chops, and Belichick's like, basically he's like, fuck no, Eli owns our ass. I don't have 2 Super Bowls because of him, so fucking kudos you, Eli. I ain't saying shit to you. It's basically what he said, which was
that's awesome,
fucking hilarious. But to listen, because the Manning brothers have just amazing football minds, right?
Oh yeah.
And then you have Belichick. Right? Belichick started his career as a special teams coordinator for the Giants. So to have all 3 of them talking about a football game, just the conversation and the understanding and the knowledge they have of those teams, even though Eli and Peyton haven't been in the league for years, and Belichick's only 1 year removed, they were fucking calling shit out left and right. This is what the Jets need to do. This is Belichick especially, dude. Belichick has a brilliant football mind.
Well, he wouldn't have won all those Super Bowls if he didn't.
Daniel Jones, right? And so that's why I really hope that the Giants just absolutely suck ass and win maybe 2 games. They clean the house, everybody in the Belichick goes back home, go finish your career where you started it, and fucking get a quarterback that is going to take the Giants to the promised land by building around players with an offensive line and just let's be a quarterback.
Because this segment brought to you by. I waited all summer to watch the New York motherfucking Giants, and then I had to watch that abysmal disaster of what they like to call a football game commence back to the Chris and Mike show.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I would have felt the same way, and I did in the first half of the Bears game. I was like, here we go again, typical Bears, and worse yet, I convinced my dad to bet on them. So now I got that pressure on my shoulders as well. So kudos to the defense and the special teams of the Chicago Bears. I should be wearing my Bears hat right now. For coming through for us and winning us some money and a football game. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Did you notice now, too, this? So it's Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday night, Monday night football. You have 4 nights of football now. How stupid is that? I didn't watch Friday night. I was like, that's just dumb.
I don't have Peacock, so I didn't watch either.
Thursday I get, yeah. Yeah, Thursday I get, and Monday I get, but fucking seriously, Friday night. And so it's a thing now. It's just a thing every week: Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday. And then when the playoffs start and all that kind of shit, then you're going to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
I thought it was just for the.
Somebody told me when I was talking about, oh yeah, that's a thing now.
Look it up. Now really? I need to know.
Somebody made it sound like it was gonna be every week.
I hope not.
That it was going on. Maybe not.
Fuck, we got baseball still. We haven't even played the World Series.
Right. Hey, Sid, when is the next Friday night football game for the NFL? There are no games on Friday. Here's what's coming up in the NFL between Thursday. Oh, fuck me. So Thursday night is Amazon. The Bills play the Dolphins on Amazon.
I got that. Everybody's got that.
I don't know why the fuck they're showing the Giants and the Redskins for Sunday's game. Who gives a fuck about that? So okay, so we got Bills and Dolphins. I'm gonna say the Dolphins win that because they're at home. Giants and the Redskins. Redskins win because they're at home.
Josh Allen. I ain't betting against Josh Allen. I stay away from those games.
I said Bills. I said Bills versus Dolphins. Bills win. And then I said, didn't I? Or did I say that wrong?
Well, I thought you said the Dolphins were going to win because they were at home.
I don't know.
Which they could.
Maybe.
Hard to bet against Tua at home too.
Yeah. Then you got the Giants and the Redskins. Redskins win because Giants suck. Cowboys, Saints. I think the Saints will go into Dallas and barely squeak by and win that.
They're not going to put up 46 points.
No. Browns at Jaguars. Jaguars at home. I think Trevor Lawrence shows up, so I think Trevor Lawrence wins that game. Buccaneers and Lions. I like what Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield quietly signed a 3-year, $100 million contract over the summer. I don't think the Lions are who they were last year.
They're going to be good, though.
I don't think the Lions are who they were last year. They had some glitches in their armor. They are going to be good, but I think they're going to fall to 1-1. I think the Buccaneers come in and shock the world. You got the Colts and Packers both 0-1. Jordan Love's out, so Colts are going to still win in Green Bay. You got Chargers and Panthers. I think that the Panthers aren't ready yet, so the Chargers win that game.
Oh, for sure.
Seahawks, Patriots at home. I'm gonna say Patriots win that one. Ravens and Raiders. Who would have thought both of them would be 0-1?
Me.
But I think the Ravens are going to win that because really.
Oh yeah, I won money on that game too.
I think the Ravens win.
So you could be a winner, sir. You too could be a winner.
Nice job.
I took the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I only won by a toe. For anybody that follows football knows that I won by about 3 inches.
Yeah. Oh, that was a hell of a play, dude. That's
how much I won by.
An amazing catch. I mean, it was an amazing catch anyway. Yeah, that's awesome. Jets and Titans, both 0-1. I think maybe Aaron Rodgers gets a win on the road.
That'd be a good game to watch.
Don't know a lot about the Titans, but they don't seem to be.
They got a stellar defense.
They don't seem to be who they were. Niners and Vikings in Minnesota, both 1-0. That's a pick 'em. I don't know. I mean, I want to say the Niners, but they're traveling across the country, and it's the second week, and they're not going to. Nobody's in shape because the fucking pussies take off preseason now. So that could be an uphill battle for the Niners. I think that's a pick 'em. Cardinals and Rams. Rams are going to win, even though it's in Arizona because everybody travels really well. Do they play against the Cardinals? So Rams are going to win there. And then Steelers Broncos in Denver. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Steelers are going to win that one.
Yeah,
and then you have the Bengals and the Chiefs.
I'd stay away from that game, though.
Yeah,
Chiefs are going to win that game.
Yeah, Bengals Chiefs obviously. Yeah, Chiefs are going to win. It'd be nice if Burrow could step up and win a game, but I don't think so.
Don't bet against Mahomes ever for any reason.
Yeah,
either stay away or don't bet.
Right. Bears and Texans are the. Yeah. Bears and Texans are whoa, it went away. Bears and Texans are our night game. And I think they're gonna. My thing just clicked out. So there was one more game left. Damn it!
I would take the Texans in that game for sure.
Sunday NFL schedule. Come on. Okay. Oh, I don't want last Sunday. Shut up. And then it was Jets and no week 2. And then where was it? The last one.
This segment brought to you by Siri Still Sucks.
Falcons. Right. Falcons and Eagles in Philadelphia's Monday night's game.
Philadelphia, for sure, depending on the spread.
Yeah.
So that's your caveat.
Yeah, I don't know what the spread is, but yeah.
You have to know what the spread is because
I'm
sometimes the other team's getting way too many points.
True. That's true, yeah. So I don't know about the spread and shit like that either. So I got to take a 5-minute. I got to pee. I'll be right back. Talk to the crowd.
Oh, okay. Well, this segment brought to you by Chris Has to Pee. I've been there. We've all been there. You know, sometimes you just got to go. So I guess we'll talk about the fact that I still have no high-speed internet. We're getting closer, though. And I will put out the public service announcement that while their customer service for Pavlov still sucks, your customer service sucks. The installer crew that put in the main lines around my neighborhood are not the ones that forgot. They didn't forget anything. They had pictures of the project done. And another company came in and worked on their project, and they nailed the fiber optic line in 2 places and broke it. So it pulled it back under the street out of the box that it belongs in. So that's why it wasn't in there. It was underneath the street. And they came in and put new lines in, and hopefully tomorrow or the next day, I will actually have some high-speed internet, and I won't have to sit here for 2 hours after talking to you fine people waiting for this to upload to Riverside, which is the studio that we use to put this together. So that's where we're at. I almost have some high-speed internet. And I guess I could say that this will be the last time that you will probably see this view. So probably the last time you'll see the lava lamp sitting right there and the fireplace. So I know it's dark, but there's a fireplace back there. We are ripping the floors out of the studio and laying brand new floors in the kitchen, the studio, and the fireplace rooms. So I have that project going on this weekend, at least getting the old floors out. And then the new floors will be in hopefully the week after that. And I have a new custom desk coming, which will blow your mind when it's done. I'm not even going to tell you about it. We'll take everybody on a virtual tour when it's done. So lots of exciting things coming on, at least around here. Hey, that was quick.
Around there?
While we were discussing all the
It was quick.
New and improved goings on around here, this will be the last time everybody sees the lava lamp in that position. So admire it.
The lava lamp.
Until I get my new camera, it probably won't be on camera anymore. It will actually be on my new custom desk that's coming, and everybody that's here will be able to enjoy it, including myself, but I don't think it'll actually be on camera anymore. So everybody enjoy it now. There you go. Woohoo! Lava lamp. It's very soothing.
That's disappointing.
Let me give you an interesting fact that I stored in my brain because it just blew my mind when I heard it. So there's a couple different things that when they need an absolute guaranteed random number generator, one of their go-to things is a lava lamp. And I wish the guy would have explained how that math works. He did not. He just said there is no more random thing on Earth than a lava lamp and another thing I couldn't remember. I was just like, no wonder I get captivated by them fuckers.
No shit.
Yep. There's no rhyme or reason as to
dude.
why it does what it does, or, you can't ever pin down it works like, and I process this in my head as I watch them. It's like, that fucking thing looks different every time I look at it. Sometimes they're all at the top.
It does. And that's,
Sometimes they're floating around.
That's what's cool about lava lamps, man.
And they've been on for like 8 hours, so it's not when they're heated up or cooled down. I don't need a bunch of messages saying, hey, when they're cold, man, they just don't, or not as, I know. I've had lava lamps since I was 20 years old. But I found it fascinating that real scientific people use them as a random number generator. Fascinating. I wish I knew how that math worked. I'll have to Google that.
I don't get how I was going to say you didn't ask that question because now it's like, how is that possible?
It wasn't
But
in
you
the
don't remember
context of their
even asking the
conversation. It
question.
was just talking about random things in nature. And the guy said, believe it or not, the lava lamp is one of the most random things there is.
You know what else was random? Velcro. Velcro's very random. We were talking about this earlier today. That once the United States released the acknowledgement that UFOs and aliens actually do exist, then all of a sudden all this massive technology started coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like all the massive technology started coming out, like all kinds of shit. It's crazy, man.
So here's another
wow,
blow your mind fact that's right along with what you're saying.
Blow your mind.
When did the Wright brothers make their flight? 1909 or something? Let's just say in 150 years, we've went from not flying to going to space.
Right.
Where were we for the thousands of years before that? Yeah. We couldn't fly shit 150 years ago.
Wow. So the Wright brothers, you're saying, were aliens that came down from some other planet and took human form and started injecting their knowledge and technology into the world to bring flights, because if we can't fly, we can't leave anyway. Like we talked about the other week, that fucking Elon Musk's stupid Starlink satellites. There's this thing on Instagram that simulates his satellites over the years.
Right,
dude. We really can't leave the planet. Like it's
I
impossible.
told you, I heard that.
It's like you know those nets, right? You know those nets you put on like hedges, right, for Christmas lights.
Yeah.
You know, like a blanket.
Yeah.
Right. Our entire globe is covered with a blanket of.
That's what this
of
guy was
Starlink
saying
satellites.
in the reel I was watching.
It's insane. Yeah, it's insane, man.
And he
Totally
was
insane.
clearly trying to make the point that if we don't do something ASAP, we are going to put ourselves in a position where we cannot leave this planet.
We're not leaving the planet.
We could be living in a simulation
Not
already.
leaving the planet,
right?
We could. This is the Truman Show, and the Matrix. Which would explain the bump on the back of my head I've had my entire life. I don't get that.
Well, as you well know, I started playing all kinds of guitar again, and one thing you cannot do with guitar is have fingernails, right? So I had to chop. Not that I had fucking long fingernails or anything, but I didn't trim them as short as you have to be a guitar player. You got to fucking nub them off, right? You can't have anything that'll hit the fretboard or it'll fuck up your chords. So the point of the story is I woke up Sunday morning and I had a gigantic gash right down my spine from the top of my neck, maybe 4 inches down my back.
What the fuck?
And I clearly
What the
bled.
fuck, dude? This
was while I was sleeping. It wasn't there when I went to bed, and it was clearly there when I woke up because I got in the shower and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Dude, you
got abducted.
You got abducted by aliens.
I could have been
you got
probed,
abducted
man.
by aliens, man. And they
sucks.
harvested your spinal. They harvested your spinal fluid.
I think they
harvested
did.
your spinal fluid.
I was a little sluggish that day.
Yeah. How did you feel the next?
I was a little sluggish.
Really? Yeah, that's what it was, dude. It's fucking crazy, man. Fucking crazy, bro. So now, if you would have remembered it all, would you have told the world on a podcast called the Chris and Mike Show, or would you kept it to yourself in order to not be targeted and attacked by the government?
You would have been interviewing me about how I got abducted on Sunday night.
Right on.
You know damn well you would have.
That's what I wanted to hear.
But I don't remember any of it.
Fucking A.
I just know I woke up with a big gash on the back of my neck.
Shout out to the people, man. The people of planet Earth. We are here to take over.
And I know you.
Awesome. Speaking of planets, so speaking of, go ahead.
I know you fine ladies and gentlemen see me drink a beer on this podcast every week, so you're probably like, "Yeah, Mike, you're probably all fucked up." I don't normally have more than 2 or 3 beers when I'm home alone by myself because
1 beer.
It's more like a dinner and then after dinner kind of thing. Maybe 2. On a Friday night, I might go crazy and woohoo, have 3, but then I'll fall asleep. That's just where I'm at in my life.
Mike, Yeah, Mike is a very responsible human being. For those of you that just listen and watch us, he's got his shit together. He has a car. He has a house. He has a job. He pays his bills.
I wipe my own ass.
You know, he gets up. He gets up on time. He has parents that he talks to. You know, probably more than most people do. He lives on the same street as his sister and his brother-in-law.
I just know what it would look like.
Man who wants to mow his lawn and he can't because there's cords everywhere.
I just know what it looks like to me if I were on the outside looking in. So I'd have to quash these rumors as they come up, you know?
Right. I'm on the outside. I'm looking in.
I'm
on the outside.
My unfortunate or fortunate, however you want to look at curse or blessing in this life was that I remember every sordid detail of every horrible fucking thing that ever happened to me. So you can't blame being fucked up. Unfortunately.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, I never blacked out.
Wow.
You know, I never got to the point where I didn't know what was going on or who I was, or I've seen that happen to people, and that's why you don't hear me advocate drug use on this podcast. You know, it's an individual thing. Some things work for some people, and some things I've seen marijuana have the most adverse effects on people, where it makes them so paranoid they can't leave the house. Well, now it's a negative, right? It's not doing you any.
I can see that. Yeah.
Now it's not doing you any service at all. It's actually doing you a disservice.
Correct.
Every now and then somebody notices that I might have got high and they comment on it, and I say, yeah, you're probably right. I don't give a fuck. I know what it does for me. It makes me relaxed, and I don't have to take Xanax anymore. For the people who are listening that are like, why are you such an advocate for cannabis?
Yeah.
Because I used to have to take Xanax for my anxiety, and that's a pharmaceutical, and that builds up in your liver and your system, and it will fucking kill you over time.
Yep.
And I needed it. Like some people can get away with just taking it when they have a panic attack or whatever. I needed it to not have the highs and lows that I have in everyday life, right? I can get super, super happy, and I can get really depressed. And that's one of the adverse effects that I had from being an addict. It fucked up probably part of my nervous system. And, you know, there's just some things that I like to call it excess baggage that came along with recovery. You know, there's certain things that just never got to be 100%.
Yeah.
And on the inside, I'm riddled with fucking anxiety in a lot of situations. You know, there's only, I can't name them on this podcast, but there's only very certain situations where I feel 100% comfortable where I can be myself. You know, talking to you, sitting at my mom and dad's house, having breakfast on Saturday morning, hanging with my friends in a
what did you
small
have for breakfast
group.
this time? Cinnamon rolls?
We had cinnamon rolls, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have cinnamon rolls again?
Well, Saturday she actually made us lunch. Chicken salad. Sunday we had cinnamon rolls. Yeah. We had lunch on Saturday.
Sandwich?
Oh, yeah.
Chicken salad sandwich?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right on. I had chicken salad sandwich yesterday. It was I just took shredded chicken and added some mayo and mustard, and that was it. That was my chicken salad.
It's delicious.
Sandwich. Put it between two pieces of bread.
That's all you need.
And it was sourdough bread, so I squished it and wrapped it up in tinfoil, and boom, there you go.
So that's my advocation towards the THC is it completely erratic. I don't take any prescription pills at all for any reason anymore.
Yeah, and you shouldn't.
That was actually a proud moment for me.
And see, that's the thing.
Here's the reason I bring this up, because I just had this argument with somebody at work today who is obviously still in the camp that marijuana is a drug, you know, a dangerous drug. Marijuana has never killed anyone, ever. So I know that this person listens to this podcast, so I'm going to tell you again, don't be that way. Whatever you were taught is wrong. It was almost like she was 100% for pharmaceuticals and 100% against marijuana. And I'm like, pharmaceuticals have killed millions of people.
I don't get that.
Marijuana has never killed anyone ever. There's never been a recorded death because you would have to smoke so much of it that you would get really hungry before you would die. You would get so hungry you couldn't fucking stand
Right,
it.
and then you fall
I know
asleep.
that sounds funny, but it's true. Anybody that's been there, if you get too in the weeds, as they say, you get super hungry, like to the point where it hurts. That's part of the reason that cancer patients, they give it to them, right? It makes them hungry. Otherwise, they don't want to eat. I just want this person that I was talking to, and I'm not going to call them out. That's not right. But I really want you to listen to what I'm saying because it's so important. Your thought process was insulting to the people that this has saved. It saved children from epileptic seizures. YouTube it. It's helped old people cope with dying. It's helped cancer patients who would not otherwise ever eat, and they would starve to death, literally, enjoy food again. It's helped somebody like me who has horrible anxiety and doesn't really want to deal with a lot of what normal people call everyday life. That's hard for me. It just is.
Right.
I don't ask anybody to feel sorry for me anymore. I figured out how to make my life work, and every now and then it seems really weird to the people around me that I need to do certain things in a certain way. But that's how I stay sober. That's how I don't go crazy. That's just how I deal with life. I don't and never have agreed with modern society, right? The whole fucking, why do I got to give all this time to somebody and something that I hate and so little time to the people around me that I care about, right?
Right.
Life is so ass backwards. But this is what you got to do. So I do the best I can every day, and I need a little help with certain things. And if you don't like that, then don't be around it. Fuck off. I don't need your opinion.
And see, and this is something that you and I talked about, like before we started doing the show. So I've gone to therapy off and on for years, and in some of the shit that I was dealing with, my therapist flat out said, "You want me to prescribe you marijuana?" I was like, "No, I don't." Well, we can prescribe Prozac. I'm like, no, not that I needed Prozac. I forget what she said, but I'm like, no, I don't. Personally, I don't. I'm not at that level where I thought I needed something to help me get through my chaos. I just had to work through my chaos with a therapist, which I've done, and use the EMDR. If you've never heard of the EMDR stuff, it's pretty badass. You go back to that point in time where the chaos was going on, and it's kind of like lucid dreaming, where you and I've had points in my life where I was a very lucid dreamer and I controlled my dreams, which is where vision came from, right? Right. So EMDR is similar to that. You kind of hypnotically take yourself back to that moment in time that caused you insane grief, chaos, turmoil, PTSD, whatever. It works great for officers. Like she's done a lot with police officers and firefighters, that the trauma they see, and so much of your body, your physical being, is connected to that trauma. So whatever it was, right? So mine was directly related. This one scenario was directly related to my abusive, motherfucking piece of shit asshole mother who's still alive and sucking breath out of somebody else's life, and she shouldn't be. The short version of the long story, she kicked me out of the house when I was 8 years old. And so in the EMDR, we got past all the abuse and shit that led up to her opening the door and kicking me out, to just got to that doorway. And in that doorway moment, and I can see this is a trippy thing. I can talk about this, and there's absolutely no feeling coming up for me whatsoever, because that's what EMDR does. It makes it makes it transactional in your brain. It takes all the physical emotion that's tied to it out, because whether people realize it or not, all your traumas attack you physically. So if you don't think it does, but it does. So that's 100%. Why you break down and you sweat and you cry and you tremble and you shake, right? And you freak out and your anxiety, all that kind of jazz. So EMDR took me to the place of the doorstep. Okay, I'm in the house, the monster's fucking yelling, and instead of her kicking me out, I just turned around, went back to my room, and shut the door. And there was nothing she could do about it, because I was completely in control of the situation in that moment of chaos, and that ended it. That stopped that. So I can talk about that now without being traumatized by it, and it's just a matter of, like this. It's a matter of conversation. I wrote a song about it in the very first band I was ever in, which was Disturbed, which was called Mother. wasn't a Danzig fan, so I didn't know Danzig had a song called Mother. But the lyrical content actually wrapped around that entire scene. You know how I write, so it was very descriptively written. And I can remember singing that song, even though Disturb really didn't do anything. We had, 3 or 4 gigs at most, but rehearsed like crazy. Garage band that never got out of the garage. But
Gotta
every
start
time I
somewhere.
sang that song, man, it brought that demon up, and it brought it up. Right, and it brought the demon up and brought it up, and it kept bringing it up. But the cool thing about music and what it did for me and the creative side of life is to help me work through that shit. And then it just got to later in life where I had to go. I wasn't a happy person a couple of years ago, so I just started going to therapy. And then that's one of the things that we just kind of evolved and worked to was, well, let's figure out why you're not happy. And that was one of the things we focused on. I'm here to tell you, it's pretty badass.
That's awesome.
It's legit. So she had a story where there was an officer that she worked with that there's a double homicide or something at a gas station. So every time he passed this gas station, he just would start have this major physical effect, nausea and shit. So when she worked with him, he could pass by any gas station in the world and there's nothing. It's like, oh yeah, that's where that happened. So that's kind of what it is. It's like, oh yeah, this happened to me, and that's it. There's nothing ever. It's not attached to me anymore. It's just more of like you got a little file cabinet in the brain, like. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, fuck her. Put it back. Shut the drawer, and you're done. And that's the cool thing about it.
What did that for me?
For those of you, yeah,
was I didn't have access to professional help at that time, but I had access to some very smart people. And I told you I went through a couple hallucinogen trips, and I went into them with the intention of healing myself, and it worked. But what you're describing is exactly what I went through in a different concept. I met these beings in another dimension. And I know it sounds fucking crazy. Oh, you on drugs, man? Well, yeah, I was on drugs. But to me, it was the realest thing that I had ever seen in my life. I saw another dimension. I saw other beings. I proved that there's either life right beside us in another dimension, or I proved to myself that there's life after this. Because these beings made that abundantly clear. But they also made it abundantly clear that I took my life too seriously, that I needed to laugh more, that I needed to love the people that loved me, that I needed to love myself first and foremost. And that was the most important lesson that I learned, was they kept telling me over and over and over again. I must have heard it 1,000 times because I wasn't getting it. You don't love yourself. And until you love yourself, you cannot make anyone else happy. That's all I kept hearing. And it wasn't that they were talking. It was that it was telepathic. I heard it in my head, but nobody's lips were moving and we were having a conversation. But what it was doing was it was healing me because I went into it with the intent of I'm going to be healed. I wanted to live. For the people that are out there, they don't understand that I was at a point where I was going to die. I was so addicted that I was days or weeks or probably less than a month from you're going to quit or you're going to die. So when I went through these experiences, it was wholeheartedly with the intention of I don't want to die anymore. So that was my step towards exactly what you're talking about. But I felt that as you were saying it. It's like that's exactly what I went through going through those couple mushroom trips, was these beings just kept telling me, you need to love yourself, There's more to life than money. There's more to life than everything other than until you're happy with you, there's no making anybody else happy, right? And I don't know why that was such a...
Yeah, absolutely.
Before I went through that experience, I could tell you I don't know why that was such a tough concept. But after that experience, one of the other things I learned through those two experiences was that making other people happy is not my responsibility. I used to live to try to make other people happy. I don't want to let this person down. I don't want to let that person down. When you get to be an adult, fuck all that. You need to make yourself happy and make a life for yourself. And if people don't fall in line with what you're doing, then they're not along for your ride. I know that sounds harsh, but it's real easy to get caught in this trap of, if I don't do this, this person's going to think that, or do this or do that. Fuck, I don't care. You're either with me or you're against me. You know, I'm not here to hurt anybody,
Right.
but I'm not here to coddle anybody or do anything to just make somebody happy. Fuck that.
Yeah. No, and that's how you should be. And
it's too much stress is what I'm getting
That's a big
at.
part of it. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a big part of life when you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with internally, that if at the end of the day you have to love who you are and respect who you are, because if you don't,
I did not
nothing
for a
else
long
falls
time.
into place, you know. Yeah. And that's what drugs do. That's what addiction does. I mean, I had moments where I was drinking that there was I didn't like myself. Which is why I would drink more, you know, and it wasn't for anything other than woe was me, but you still, anybody that goes down that path needs to realize that. Speaking of which, this is a nice little segue of something I wanted to touch on too, even though I don't want to glorify it. The fucking kid who shot up that the school in Georgia, you heard about that, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so 4 people, right? I think 4 people, 2 dead and 2
Yep.
shot, injured. His dad gave him the gun. Did you see that?
Yeah, so, okay. I agree with you. I'm glad you brought it up. How do you feel about that? Should the dad should absolutely be charged, just like the Michigan family was charged, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. He's facing him 180 years in prison. And the reason why he gave a weapon of mass destruction, because that's what it is,
Yes.
whether it's a fucking missile or whether it's a handgun, he gave his son, a 14-year-old, who he knew and admitted wasn't right in the mind,
That's the problem.
gave him a weapon to defend yourself.
For all you
That's the
fuckers
problem.
out there that are going, oh,
Instead of
you
helping
fucking
him
don't
work
like
through
the
his pro-
guns.
Yeah.
That's not what he's saying. What he's saying
Yep.
is he knew his
We
kid
do
was
like the gun.
fucked up.
I have guns.
Thank
Yep.
you. But
Exactly.
you're going to have those people who are like, oh,
Yep.
you don't like the guns. They just can't listen to what the context of the conversation is, right? You got to help those people. I'm learning to
Right.
help those people because I get messages.
no.
So I'm trying to
Yeah.
what do they say?
And
Cut those off at the pass.
Right. Right. So
His dad knew he
understand,
was
I am
fucked
a
up.
member of the NRA. I have right. I have a shotgun. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 handguns, one of which is Nikki's. Jake, my son, a drill instructor in the United States Marine Corps, he has several guns. Skylar has a gun. Her fiance has probably 5, 6, 7 guns. All these guns are locked up in safes. I have a concealed carry permit. I went through the education to do that. I took it even further and went through executive protection training. So not only can I carry a concealed permit, I know how to actually use that weapon in a situation that would call for it to be used in active shooting. I did active shooting training, all that shit. Because why? Why not? Why not build your life resume so when you're faced with the moment, knock on wood, hopefully I'm never faced with the moment where I have to engage and draw my weapon and do what has to be done. But I at least have the knowledge and the understanding and the education of how to do that in a legal way.
Better
that's
to
not
have
going
it
to be
and not
destructive
need
to
it
myself
than
or
need it
anybody
and not
around
have it.
But exactly. I
Right.
also carry a first aid kit with me in my truck. So if I drive by an accident and somebody's fucking bleeding out, I jump out of my truck. I can wrap that shit up in a tourniquet. I know how to apply simple first aid. I know how to apply simple CPR. So it's nothing that is detrimental. But I'm not going to give little man, my 4.5-year-old grandson, a gun to play with, which is essentially what this father did to his 14-year-old kid, who was mentally unstable.
Correct.
And gave him a gun to solve his problem. So yes, Daddy is just as responsible. It's no different, boys and girls. If I have a party, we're having a 50th birthday party for Nikki, okay, on December 7th. Mike, you're welcome to come to town.
Thank you very much.
So
Appreciate
say,
the invite.
neighborhood kids show up. I don't have neighborhood kids, but let's say 15-year-old, say 3 or 4 15-year-old kids come over to my house during that party. We don't realize they're here.
Right.
They tap into the margarita machine and shit, and they get schlockered. I live on an acre, so they're on the pasture side, not on the party side. And then they get in their car, and they fucking go drive down the street, and they fucking crash into somebody's house and kill somebody. Who's responsible?
You.
This guy. You know
Absolutely.
why? Because I had alcohol at my premises that these kids came to,
Whether you knew about it or
and
not.
then caused chaos and damage, destruction, and death. Exactly. So there's no different than giving a 14-year-old kid a weapon
Who's
to
mentally
solve his
unstable.
problem than giving a 14-year-old kid a bottle of Jack and saying, "Drink up, Johnny. Everything gets better." There's no different. There's no gray line. There's no like Mike said. There's no well, golly gee shucks. No difference.
Let me go one step further. Even if he's not mentally unstable, science has proven that your frontal cortex, which is your brain, the entirety of your brain, is not fully formed until you're 25 years of age. So if anybody out there that's listening does not know that, you just learned something new right along with me today, was that your frontal cortex is not fully formed till you're 25. So you're officially not done growing, to Chris's point, mentally until you're 25 years old. So even if this kid had not been mentally unstable, which he was, he still shouldn't be given a weapon, which is your point with using the analogy of alcohol. No. You don't give underage kids alcohol. You shouldn't give an underage kid a weapon unsupervised. It's fine to go out there and shoot with him supervised. Chris can take his grandson when he's old enough, and he can supervise him at a gun range and teach him, the safety of guns. That's fine. But to just say, here, have a gun and go have fun with it is fucking insane.
Yep.
Like, you think, what the fuck is wrong with people? Why would you? That guy's just as guilty and just as stupid as the kid who went and shot up the school. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yep. No, I 100% agree. I don't care what anybody else thinks because we're entitled to our own opinion.
It's our show.
If you listen to this show long enough, 46 times now, it's our show, and
we love you.
We, like all humans, have a right to, but we, like all humans, have a right to our opinion. Yeah. And that is our opinion, that underage drinking, and you supply it, you're going to jail, motherfucker. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yep.
Or you're going to get fined. But if you give a kid a gun, and they go do something chaotic with that gun, which this kid did, you're fucking going to jail. You're facing charges. There's 100%. I don't think the gun manufacturing companies should be held liable, just like I don't think the tobacco companies should be held liable for all the cancer shit.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Because the stupid humans put humans put the cigarettes in their mouths.
I chose to smoke this. Right. This is a tobacco vape. For those of you that think I'm sitting here doing THC, I got accused of that too. It's tobacco. See, it's yellow even. It's
tobacco. Right. Yeah.
I just told this story the other day. I'm guilty of doing enough stupid shit all on my own. You could pick thousands of examples. Pick one that I actually did. When I get accused of doing something I'm not doing, I'm going to tell you exactly the truth. I'm an open book. So if you want to know something, the people out there, send me a text message, send me an email if you got access to that. Go to the Chris and Mike Show Facebook page. Ask me whatever you want. But I have gotten messages from a couple people that are like, well, it's pretty obvious you sit there and smoke the whole show, that's pretty obvious. It's like, I smoked this tobacco vape right here.
So kudos to you for listening and watching the show and pointing out that Mike smokes a vape all day while on the show. So thank you for being a listener and a watcher.
Mike just got home from work and they don't let him do this at work. And he was there for 10 hours.
Right. That's 10 hours of working. Right. So, boys and girls, if you ever have supplied your body with nicotine, you go 10 straight hours without nicotine, you're going to go home and smoke a little. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just like when I was drinking, if I was showing houses for 6 hours, first thing I did when I walked in the door, man, I hit my half a bottle of Jack. Hello, Jack. How are you today? I'm good, Chris. How are you? Woo! But you know what? I was a grown ass adult, so I can do what I want.
And let me give you a visual. I was going to give you a compliment earlier on one thing that I can tell the people out there, having shared the stage with you many, 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 many times, too many times to count. Chris really lived his music. So when you saw him singing it, a lot of the reasons people came back, it was very evident that he was super passionate about what he was singing. It wasn't just we wrote a song about partying and fucking chicks and doing drugs, and those are fun songs too. We've all sung along with Motley Crue, and they wrote a lot of songs about that. But the thing that impressed me about you is it wasn't just so much that I read the lyrics and I fell in love with your lyrics right away. And you know me, I don't really give a fuck about lyrics, so that's saying something.
Right.
Then I saw you actually eat, sleep, and breathe these songs, because I learned very quickly that a lot of them were very personal to you, and that was evident on stage. It was also equally as evident that you love Jack Daniels. That's where the story was going.
Yep.
Chris loved Jack Daniels like Scott and I liked smoking
like,
a joint before we got on stage. You know, it was just that was our pregame warm-up.
Yes.
Like him and I went and did our thing. Chris went and did his thing, and poor Rick got left in the fucking dust. Poor Rick. Sorry, Rick.
Yeah, and to my but to my knowing who I was, I only did one shot and drank one beer
I didn't
before
say we
going
got
on
all
stage.
fucked up. I said you went and did your thing. We went and did our thing.
No, I know.
We were not all fucked up on stage.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was just where I was going with that, because I wasn't right. We knew our limits, and we knew the performance was the performance, and we always approached it as we're never going to be on the stage again.
Yes.
And that's how we were. And that's
we always played like it was.
That's why I always had such a hard time with covers. Yeah, that's why I always had such a hard time with covers, because I couldn't own the cover song lyrically, emotionally, like I could own my own stuff. You know, I
Agreed.
like. There's certain covers there were certain covers I ended up doing because I could feel the energy in them, but you know, your own material that's you draw from your marrow, right? Your music's drawn from your soul, and the more of that you can draw and empower and perform, I think just is better for music than covers. And now there are covers that are spectacular, like Metallica covering Bob Seger's "Turn the Pages" fucking lights out.
Agreed.
And I'm sure you've seen the video. The video of that
I just saw
completely changed the
this
context of the song. Right?
For the first time in a long time, it was on MTV's Headbangers Ball or whatever. Now they call it Metal Mayhem or something. Yeah.
Dude, I never would have ever in my life thought of that version.
That's a great
that Metallica
video.
did for the video of that.
Nor
in
would
relation to what Bob Seger did. Right, but it's right, and the first time I saw that, dude, it fucking rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, what? That's just fucking wrong. And if you haven't seen the video, I'm not gonna run it for you.
Go watch
Google
it.
Metallica, Turn the Page, and watch the video. Yeah, watch
100%.
the video. And for me, it had that effect that it was just like, what the fuck? This is disturbing, and it wasn't an evil disturbance. It was just you'll know when you watch it.
It's a different approach to the song.
If you're human, you'll know when you watch it. Yeah, but a brilliant approach, man.
Brilliant.
Fucking, and the lyrically, it's the same. The melody pretty much is the same, just heavier and darker. But fuck me, that's a great cover. There's certain songs that are just great covers, like we've talked about before.
And for the record, before you move on, Bob Seger loved that version of that song.
Yeah.
He was fucking blown away.
Right.
So for those of you that hear it and go, I bet
Bob
Bob
Seger's-
fucking hated that song. Man, I bet Bob was like, what the fuck, dude? No, Bob loved it. He thought it was fucking powerful and amazing, was his exact words. It was powerful and amazing. Metallica knows how to make a song their own. And it helped out his pocketbook. Yes.
Yeah. So does this. Yeah. Disturbed too.
Agreed.
Disturbed has a cover on every album they've ever put out.
The Sound of
And
Silence
Land of
is
Confusion.
fucking
Nikki loves
amazing.
Genesis, Land of Confusion. Right.
Their version of that's
Which
good
Nikki
too.
loves the Land of Confusion with that better than Genesis, and she's a huge Genesis fan. But yeah, Sound of Silence. You want to talk about dynamic range and Draymond, how he takes you on that vocal roller coaster ride? That fucking, I mean, that by
powerful.
far is one of my top 10 all time favorite. Yeah, power
Send
ballads
chills
for
up
sure.
your
Just
spine.
the way he delivered, because Simon Garfunkel. Right, because Simon Garfunkel's version was fucking hokey folky pop pole shit and whatever, but then Disturbed pulled
1960s
that shit off.
version.
Like,
Yeah.
damn, even Jake liked that song, dude. Yeah, even Jake liked that song. He was just like, fuck, dude, this is badass, Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Just amazing. Amazing. If you're going to cover something, cover it, but make it your own.
Yeah, because I'm going to piss a lot of people off.
Did Boys of Summer.
I'm going to piss a lot of people off right now.
Right on.
I like Aerosmith's version of Come Together better than the Beatles. And that always, people want to punch me right in the
argue.
fuck. I like it better.
You know why, though? You didn't hear the version that was going around Sirius XM for a while.
You told me
It
this.
was take number 5.
It's still gonna be hard, dude.
Fuck me, dude.
I know. I know,
dude. If you heard that version though, I think maybe it'd bring the Aerosmith notch down.
You might.
I'm not saying to replace it
might.
because to each his own, to each his own. But if you heard the 5th take of that song and just the dynamic before and after and how he sang it, because he was still trying to find it, but he found it without realizing he found it.
Dude,
It's
there's
one of those magic studio moments.
all 5 people listening to this podcast want to
yeah.
throw tomatoes at me right now. I get it. I get it. I've people have literally wanted to fight me over that statement.
Not everybody likes.
I love the Beatles.
Likes the Beatles, man. I did that.
I
thing.
fucking
Who's the most
love the
overrated
Beatles.
Band?
I just like Aerosmith's version better. It hits me better.
Right.
I like their version of Train
but
Kept
there's
Rolling
some
better
people that
than
don't
Led
like the
Zeppelin.
Beatles. That yeah.
Led
They did do a
Zeppelin
better
never
job of Train Kept
officially
Rolling, for sure.
recorded. Okay, so I'll get in trouble doing this shit by people who know that I know about music. I know Led Zeppelin never officially recorded Train Kept Rolling, but there's a lot of footage and live footage and bootlegs that they played it. That was actually the first song Led Zeppelin ever played together, for those of you that don't know. Aerosmith fucking kicked that song's ass. And also, for those of you who don't know, that's not Joe Perry playing that lead, and Tony will kill me, but I'm embarrassed to say I can't remember the guy's name. And that's why nobody knows it's not Joe Perry's, because it wasn't widely publicized. But no, that version, that solo in Train Kept Rolling is another guitar player. Yeah. I can't remember the guy's fucking name, but it's not Joe Perry. And I was always sad when I found that out. Because that's why I love that version of that song, because that guitar solo just shreds. I mean, it's like blues on a whole level of guitar playing that wasn't done before that. It moves.
Yeah.
I was just trying to reinforce your point that there's covers that are better than the originals. It's just when you say that, now it's like you said that, I don't know, something's better than Christ, Muhammad's better than Christ or whatever. You've just insulted an entire
Muhammad Ali?
No, Muhammad
Ali? Oh.
The Islam.
Oh, Mount Muhammad? Oh. Oh.
Don't draw Muhammad.
Gotcha. Don't draw Muhammad. Don't draw Muhammad.
That's one of the funniest stories in the history of the world.
What else did I want to talk?
For you people that have never heard this.
So let's talk.
There was a time when you could not draw Muhammad.
Go ahead.
And in the state of Texas, in a little town, they had a Draw Muhammad contest. Mm-hmm. See, these Arabs were killing people for drawing Muhammad. Everybody in this town is armed. So it was like a setup.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. That's a true story.
Okay.
It's a Rogan joke in one of his Netflix specials.
Oh.
But it's a true story.
Yeah.
This town in Texas hosted a Draw Muhammad contest and waited for the people to show up. I'm not sure anybody ever showed up, but like, for real?
Okay.
You'd be stupid enough to go to Texas and try and shoot people? Everybody in Texas is armed. Speaking of guns.
Yeah. We got the guns. We got the numbers. Gonna win. Yeah, we're taking over. Come on. 5-1, baby. 1-5. No one here gets out alive.
That's a great song.
I love that song. You get yours, baby. I'll get mine. We're gonna make it till the end of time. Yeah. Yep. The Doors, Jim Morrison, the Mojo, the Lizard King, Mr. Mojo Rising. They have this. Every now and then you'll see this shit where, like, oh, if you could bring somebody back from the dead, who would it be? And they talk about they list all the artists and stuff. I don't think you bring anybody back, man. I think if you bring somebody back, it tarnishes their legacy. It tarnishes what they accomplished. I think it's a bad thing to say, oh, let's bring Elvis back. Elvis wouldn't be Elvis if Elvis didn't die.
Right.
As fucked up as that sounds, Elvis would not be Elvis if Elvis didn't die. The legacy would have ended there.
We proved that.
He'd be a fucking old man now, right?
We actually proved that with the Michael Jackson story when we talked about it on that podcast, because Michael Jackson was going to be bankrupt literally he was done. That's why he was trying to do that comeback tour, and there was no guarantees on that.
Yep.
And the next thing you know, he's making more money than most people that are alive. So, yeah, that backs up your point pretty heavily.
Yeah, yeah. You just don't. They're dead for a reason. Now, speaking of dead for a reason and not dead for a reason, my daughter just celebrated her 28th birthday.
Yay!
The significance
Happy
of that
birthday.
is that she had struggled with some things, and most people that struggle with the things that she struggled with don't make it to their 28th birthday. So kudos to her. Very proud of her for accomplishing what she's accomplished in her lifetime, and truly, knocking on wood, has completely and 100% turned her life around, in every way, shape, or form.
And I mean it when I say it. That's awesome.
It's one of those things that. Oh, I do, absolutely.
I'm sitting here a survivor.
I don't share her story very much. Yeah, I don't share her story very much because it's not my place to share it anymore. Because I don't want to tarnish what she's built for herself.
No, she's come over the other side. It's her story to tell now. I agree with you.
Right. And
there comes a time where it's your story to tell.
Yeah, exactly. So, someday she will, hopefully. I keep trying to get her to come on the show because I think it would be.
She's welcome here anytime.
I think it would
be
a good.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I think she'd be awesome. I think it'd be fantastic. Yeah, for sure.
And for that fact, everybody's welcome here anytime you want. If you got a computer and a way to connect to the internet, look us up. There's got to be interesting people out there that want to tell their story. Once Mike has a fiber optics, then we can really start having guests and shit on, which is exciting. Yes, and get rid of this 2-second fucking delay, which has annoyed Chris and I for 46 episodes. So.
Right. It's okay though, man.
Whether you people have realized it or not, he's dealt with a 2-second delay the entire time we've been recording this podcast. I don't get it from him because he's on Starlink, but he gets it from me. So we'll all give Chris a round of applause for putting up with the 2-second delay. It's rough sometimes.
Thank you.
So if you ever hear him just like mid-conversation go, okay, that's why. He doesn't hear me right away.
That's why. We said that's... Yeah, we said that's why at the same time. That was impressive. All right. What are we at? An hour and 22 minutes. Let's wrap her up. I got to get ready for the running night. Hopefully it's the last 105-plus degree running night. Because let me tell you, last week we ran and we got done running. The fucking restaurants fucking put our asses outside. And Nikki and I was like, fuck that, Nikki. We're going inside. So we actually sat on our own table while the entire running group was outside bearing the heat. Like, fuck, you're all stupid, man. There's plenty of tables over here.
In the air conditioning.
For whatever reason, 100 Mile Brewery, they're like, yeah, fuck you guys are. Right. 100 Mile Brewery's like, yeah, you guys are fucking out.
One thing in Arizona you don't want to do
crazy.
Is eat outside in August, September, October.
Right.
Save that for the end of October.
Especially if you run a 5K in 105-degree weather. Now, granted, we're a little wacky for running a 5K in 105-degree weather, but
you guys are in shape,
so it might as well be us.
I don't recommend that for a normal person.
It depends. I felt weak as I felt weak as fuck yesterday at Suffer City, man. Like there was pull-ups and I could barely do 5 pull-ups and I can normally do 7 to 10. Power cleans and stuff. I legit felt weak as fuck. I don't know what it was.
I'll come work out with you. You'll feel like fucking Hercules.
Days,
You'd be like, holy shit, I'm all right. Mike's fucked, but I'm all right.
That's funny. That's funny.
Well, you guys have a good rest of your night, brother.
Right, so we did our picks for football.
Yes.
Yeah.
You did your picks.
We did our picks for football, so hopefully you all
I'll let you know what mine are.
You all got that down and I'm gonna fuck with you. I'm not fuck with you. I'm gonna call you or something Friday, and you're gonna show me how to draft. You're gonna show me how to draft king it. And I'll do some draft king this weekend for football, and we'll roll with it and see what happens.
All right, buddy.
Jake will be proud. All right, man.
It's fun,
boys and girls. If you're not alone, so if you're having a shitty day, hey, talk to somebody. Tomorrow is always a better day. You are not alone in this world. And I legit, if you've never done therapy and you've never done that EMDR therapy thing, it's legit. It's something to try. It's not hypnosis. It's not getting in your brain and rewiring shit. It's just, it's coming face to face with a traumatic event in your lifetime. And the weight that we lifted off your shoulders is just amazing. And
That's
the way
awesome.
Mike did it is kind of the same concept.
Don't
just
do it
different
without a
path.
guide.
It's a different path how he did it, but it's still... It's still accomplished the same thing. But yeah, having a guide is better because they can talk you in and out.
Don't do it without a guide.
Because it does get chaos because it does bring up emotions and stuff, and you gotta kind of ground yourself before you move on with your day. And it's wearing, man. It's physically, it's taxing. Like I remember that day, and it's like I didn't want to do shit the rest of the day except take a nap.
It's the same thing on the flip side.
Yeah.
So I would probably send people Chris's way because I could guide you through that trip, but I'm not available to most people that are listening to this because we have listeners from here to Russia now. We just picked up Mother Russia for the people that are out there.
Russia.
That's what they call the motherland.
The motherland of vodka.
I am not a communist.
Yeah, the motherland of vodka.
That's what the Russians call. They call it the motherland.
No. And we don't portray one on. Yeah, we don't portray one on TV.
I
always call the motherland Ireland because that's the home of the potatoes.
I know you. Well, Dave's from Ireland, and you and
Motherland
Dave are good friends.
Is Ireland. It's like this, man, like this, the motherland, potatoes.
So, I definitely want to.
You go have dinner.
I definitely want to leave people with, don't go my route unless you have a guide. I couldn't be any more serious.
Yeah.
There's people that know how to. They prepare you just like Chris's therapist prepared him for what he was about to go through. We prepare you to fix whatever you want to fix, and that requires a lot of giving up on your part to the person that is taking you through the trip. So you have to be willing to trust that person, and you have to be willing to give yourself to that person for the length of time that it takes to get in the headspace and then to do the work that it takes to repair whatever was damaged. It's the same concept as what Chris went through, and I would actually like to go through what he went through for the addiction part of what I went through, because I still deal with a lot of trauma from that I've never shared with anybody. So that sounds interesting to me too.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, man. And the cool thing about it is it was baby stepped. It baby stepped from the initial meeting, and then 2 or 3 meetings after that talking about it, and then laying foundations and groundworks. Like you got a safe space. There's a spot in my mind where I can go to. So it's cool. It kind of builds it up to attacking the traumatic event. Attacking is probably not the right word. Resolving the traumatic event, but you have all these safeguards in place prior to getting to that event.
Yes.
So at any given time, you just take your mind out of that spot and go to your safe place, which is cool. So, and it's not the type of therapist that tries to alter your reality and point the finger shit. So you got to find somebody that's not one of those fucks that tries to make you blame everything on your mother and your father and point the finger, blame game. You're your fucking own human being. You went through your own shit, so you need to learn how to deal with your own shit. And it's not a negative thing to go through and do that, because it just makes you a better person, and you don't carry that baggage and that weight and that anger and that frustration and the sorrow and the pain. And you're not a pussy for going to therapy. You're not a wimp. You're not weak. You're not a fucking piece of shit. You don't have to cower. Oh, I went to therapy. Fuck that. I went to therapy and it fucking worked. So,
that's the important part.
Be a man, be a woman, stand up, own your shit, and figure out what it's going to take to get you healthy. And
that's the most important message.
Google EM,
That's the most important message of the entire podcast right there, because that's the lesson I had to learn. Somehow I got to the point in my life where I was not owning my shit. And that's a horrible place to be in, because when people are calling you on it, you're a fuck up. That's the most important thing that everybody heard here today, myself included. Own your fucking shit. If you're doing bad in your life, going to therapy is not a weakness. It's, to Chris's point, it fixed his life. It gave him a tool that allowed him, just like a screwdriver screws into the wall, he has a tool in his mind that when he gets in a bad headspace, oh, hey, here's how I deal with that. I don't yell at my wife. I don't beat my kids. I don't drink.
Yep. Exactly.
This is where I go.
Right.
That's how you don't let the bad days win,
and
man.
That's, and looking back on, right, and looking back on what I went through and how she helped me through that. That was probably one of those. And there's many reasons that somebody turns into an alcoholic and an addict, but that was probably one of those things subconsciously that I was trying to bury, even though I thought I had worked through it with music and songs and writing and shit. It's still there, man. There's still trauma doesn't go away. Trauma never goes away. So be mindful of that. You're not alone. Tomorrow's a better day. Reach out, talk to somebody. Don't do anything stupid. Go to sleep. You're going to wake up. The sun's going to shine, unless you're in, a gloomy part of the country. And it'll be better. Tomorrow will be a better day. And with that, this is episode 46. I'm Chris Dunham. He's Mike Michaels. This is the Chris and Mike Show. Until next time, see you.
Peace.
Peace out, brother. Love you.